It's a bright day. Welcome to Nimrod Radio World News. My name is Bimpe Esan Adedeji. Let us observe the headlines of the news stories first. The officials of United States long waited for Sinwar's death to create an end to Israel-Hamas war. The internet freedom in China has not done so much good to the country. Findings through report. The cases of Marburg in Rwanda reduce while mpox spreads in Africa. The reason the power sector needs to be relieved of subsidy on Moborio's statement. This is in Nigeria. We'll return shortly with the details of the news stories. Officials of United States long waited for Sinwar's death to create an end to Israel-Hamas war. As reported, the officials of U.S. were there at the time Israel Defense Forces (IDF) announced it was on the research to know whether the strike launch into Gaza met with the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar. According to report, the death of Sinwar would have affected the method of running Biden's government. It is believed to be an event, if true, to change things over about the war between Israel and Hamas, which has been lingering for over a year now. As the officials of U.S. stated, though there were efforts to bring up a ceasefire and a deal on the hostages, but this could not be realized for months. The hope that Sinwar would be eventually eradicated was high. U.S. would definitely be through with the war at Gaza if it happens. During the discussion on the all-for-all ideology of having a hostage exchange with a Palestinian prisoner, in as much as Hamas desires the freedom of such, few of U.S. officials have the opinion that the arrangement could have been possible if Sinwar is no longer alive. The internet freedom in China has not done so much good to the country. Findings through report. As stated in the report, for over 10 years, the world has rated China last for the freedom given to the Chinese on the internet. According to the report, the neighbor of China, Myanmar, are now internet starved. Freedom House of the U.S. government is a non-governmental organization that discovered the global internet freedom has dropped for run over 14th year. China and Myanmar were jointly ranked to the base in year 2024, having scored 9 out of 100. As reported, ever since power has seized during 2021 coup, the military junta of Myanmar took the decision of shutting down the access to internet by imposed regulations. There was a period of trailing and monitoring by the initiators of internet freedom in 2024 with the title, The Struggle for Trust Online. As stated in the report, the technology for censorship that was introduced in May via the access of the virtual private networks or the VPNs. This made a lot of people living in the country to lose grip on internet. Myanmar has the restrictions on internet freedom in order for the people of the country, the civilians, to be limited in having online activities and also prevent some armed group from operating through the internet as reported. Connecting to online information is viewed as what could claim or spare life. For many living in Myanmar, as the news agency of United Nations let out a statement, as it has to do more with those seeking protection from human attacks by their military and so many others with the intention of bringing up crisis as it has to do with the economy and people's way of life. The spokesperson of the military, Mao Ning, relayed, the report on this subject matter is totally untrue and it is written with motives unknown. The cases of Marburg in Rwanda reduce while mpox spreads in Africa. As stated in the report, Marburg virus is a deadly one, and after its outbreak in Rwanda, vaccination has helped combating it in great way. Even the exposed workers in the sector of health were able to stay active through the administration of the vaccine. The new experience of the mpox and its rate of spreading in African countries is a point of concern, as the health minister of Rwanda and the head for the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention stated on Thursday. According to report, the vaccine to fight against Marburg virus first administration began in October, so that its outbreak would be prevented in the eastern part of Africa. The infections have been reduced by 50% after the 2 weeks of its prevalence, as the Health Minister, Sabe Nsansimana, explained. He further said the period after the crash in the infection rate preserved many lives, as the recovery of people's health was encouraged by the treatment given to them. As the exercise progressed, according to report, the new infection was not given any chance, as people were fit enough to live above it, as Nsansimana relayed to the news reporters during a briefing. The statement of the minister revealed 62 cases confirmed to be that of hemorrhagic fever, with 15 death toll, though 38 people survived the disease and 9 have been treated. Through the latest report, the mpox outbreak declared by the WHO as a public health emergency of international concern still spread fast in Africa, as analyzed by Jane Kaseya, the Director General of Africa CDC, during the briefing. Efforts have been intensified, according to him, so that the 42,000 and more suspected cases of mpox, which had claimed 1,100 lives, will be put under control, as the Africa CDC data released the figures. The agency received the pledges of more than $800 million, according to Kaseya, but the potential donors are yet to give the money towards the vaccinations exercise. The reason the power sector needs to be relieved of subsidy, on Moboriowo's statement. This is in Nigeria. As stated in the report, the chairman of Genesis Energy Group, Mr. Akinwole Omoboriowo, showed a sense of fulfillment with the decision made by the government of Nigeria to relieve the sector of power subsidy. He explained the country's struggles with the needed capital to keep certain things working, and it will still continue to struggle with continuous supply of subsidies to certain sectors for not having the capacity to do so, especially towards the sector of power. According to him, the tendency of the country having an empty purse is high. He further said Nigerians should use the opportunity they could exploit through the Electricity Act of 2023, as everyone joins hands to make it work. As reported, Omoboriowo had a discussion with the news reporters on the new implementation along with the regular policies at the Nigeria Energy Leadership Summit 2024, with the theme Breaking Barriers in the New Energy Era, Clean, Reliable and Sustainable. It was organized by Lagos Informal Markets. Omoboriowo mentioned this is the time the Nigerian power sector will have the freedom for commercialization, as it was formerly managed by subsidy. Before we end Nimrod Radio World News, let us see the headlines of the news stories again. The officials of the United States long waited for Sinwar's death to create an end to Israel-Hamas war. The internet freedom in China has not done so much good to the country. Findings through report. The cases of Marburg in Rwanda reduce while mpox spreads in Africa. The reason the power sector needs to be relieved of subsidy, on Moboriowo's statement. Thank you for watching Nimrod Radio World News today. My name is Bimpe Esan Adedeji. Enjoy the weekend.